Are my teeth nice and clean? I've just had a cookie. A vegan cookie. Hello. I don't want to be smiling and you saying, has he got chocolate in his teeth? I was just pondering a few of my friends that I have of the miracles and the magic of life and how it all works. I often ponder about these things where my friends don't see, because they don't see the big picture. They just see what is in front of them. And I guess being a psychic, it makes us more open to what the root cause is, what the end result could be, and not what's just in your face at that given moment. Because when we look on a one level perception, it's this is happening now, and actually there's a lot more happening. And that's the fascinating thing of being a healer. It's fascinating. Your life changes completely when you become aware and awake, not awoke like these people who pretend they are. No idea what being awake is. You look at the bigger picture, you delve within the places that impossible, that couldn't happen, that's not true, no, until it happens and they go, oh yeah, oh well yeah, that's the way it is. Well, it's not what you said when we first started talking about it. It's really funny. People only see what they see when it actually happens, but not the future and what the possibilities could be when you are a seer, when you're a psychic, when you're a healer, when you're intuitive, which you are. You're all awakening now. You're seeing beyond the now. So if you're living in the now, then all you see is fear, worry, you need an injection, life can't go on without it. Whereas a seer sees beyond that and says, actually, this is dangerous. We're going to see a lot of more people passing out, fainting, dying, a lot more reactions, and we can see the future is going to get worse. And actually, the jab doesn't actually make any difference at all. It was just there to for certain other reasons, because then you start to look even deeper of why these things are happening. And it's not just one thing. Of course, it's a control over a passport. And once they've got the passport, you've got your details. They know everything about you. They've got your DNA, farming, which a lot of people talk about these days, which they've been harvesting all of that for many years, as the wonderful Brendan mentioned. Absolutely right, bang on. They've been doing all this for a long time. It's just become more evident now, and yeah, we see the G8, is it the G7 summit? How they're all laughing and joking, and it's a great club, isn't it, to be able to not wear a mask and come together and, you know, not have to quarantine and all of the things that they say they've done, which they haven't. You know, of course, we know there's clubs, and there's clubs within clubs. So yeah, I was thinking just then, my mate was buying a property, and it all fell through. And he was telling me that the person who bought it found out that there was some subsidence, and it cost the new owners 20,000. So I've got a big smile on my face, and I'm saying, oh wow. I said, and what happened? He says, well, they did it all, and now it's back up for sale again, and I'm buying it, and it's all going through. I said, so when when you were buying it, and if you would have bought it, you would have found that it had subsidence, and that it needed, I don't know, 20 ton of concrete pumping underneath to support foundations. And that 20,000, if you'd have bought it, would you have been able to afford that? And he said, no, I wouldn't. Oh, and now that you're buying it, how much is it costing? Is it costing more? He says, no, it's actually, they put it on the market again, and it's the same price. So I said, you're buying it Um, and that work's been done, so you didn't need to do that work. Oh yeah, yeah. I said, do you remember when you wanted to buy it and you told me you were heartbroken and everything, was going wrong in your life, and you felt depressed because it was a house that you wanted, and oh yeah, yeah, I remember that. Yeah, you just can't. You can't make it up because you can't. Even if I said, well, maybe what happened was that spirit knew that there was a problem, and you were lucky enough that spirit held you back, perhaps knowing that somebody would come along and spend that 20,000, and then eventually not want to be in that house after a few, was it 9 months, and it's up for sale at the same price, and you've just bought it now for the same price, but all this work's been done for you. To me, that's a miracle. That's like, thank you. But to people who live in there now, don't see it. It's very difficult. Just coincidence. Oh, how hard the spirit world works for us to just deny it or just ignore it or choose not to see it. I have another friend who was buying a piece of land in another country, and they were going to buy it, and then I don't know what happened. Everything was going right, and it was really, really cheap, and I think he was led to that land for a number of reasons, and he just asked me to look at it, and I said, it's just. I got the card of joy, new ideas, new surprises, new ventures, new. Normally, it's new ideas comes with new business or a new beginning, lots of things like that. And I said, "It's a good card." I said, "This piece of land is going to be a surprise." I said that. I kept saying it's a surprise, and I don't read for people anymore. But he's my mate, and I just said, "Look, it's a good card." Anyway, he pulled out. He didn't buy it in the end, and I said, "Oh, okay. What have you bought?" He said, "Oh, I bought this piece of land here," which was about 10 miles away, 10 or 15 miles away. And he sent me a message only a few days ago saying, "You're never going to believe this." I said, "What's that?" He said, "The guy who bought that piece of land, what did he say? Oh yeah, they found a spring, because this land was like rocks and all sorts. And anyway, the new owners, it was about, I think it was about 4 acres of land, and yeah, it was a natural spring, and the people who bought it were now applied for planning to test the water, and if the water's good enough, apparently it is, if the water's good enough, they're going to now create their own supplied bottled water in glass in this country. And I was laughing, and I said, that land was next to nothing. What's that land worth now? It's probably worth another 100 to 300,000 if they get the full stamp of approval, and if this water is mineral based and it's healthy, which it will be because of where it is. I said, "How do you feel?" He said, "It's just one of those things." And I said, "The land that you've bought now, has it got water on it?" He said, "No, but I wish it had." And that's one thing that he wanted. I said, "Can I ask you why you didn't buy that land in the end?" And he said, "I don't know." He said, I was fighting against it. I have no idea, but I was fighting against it." And I said, "Were you fighting against it in your heart or your mind?" He says, "In my mind." He said, it was too good to be true." I says, "Well, normally when it's too good to be true, it is too good to be true." I says, "But, I was interested. Why we fight against something that is is given to us, and why we fight against something that we are stopped. So there's the spirit world gently whispers and says, yes, go with that, and the spirit world says, no, don't go with that. So they block us, or they allow us to go, and we fight against both. I find that fascinating, and I talk about this in not only my books but in my my work in general. When I share information of the balance of life, what is the balance? It's called flow. What is flow? Well, it's the point where you're not battling in the mind. Yeah, I mean, and we talk about creativity as well. What is creativity? How does it begin? Where does it begin from? Does it begin, what came first, the chicken or the egg? Did it come from the mind? Did it come from the heart? What is creativity? How does it start? How do we begin? And that's a fascinating subject, because for me, I think most people go into depression because of a lack of creativity. What is creativity? It's doing. It's getting up off your bum and doing something. And it doesn't matter what it is. It's like, I've got a cupboard there, right? If I open that cupboard or that drawer right there, and I start putting everything nice and neat, I have made a conscious decision to get up off my bum and do something. That's called creativity. After that, what I do is the flow of life. So I can open that drawer and say there's lots of things in there, and say, okay, that doesn't fit there well, so my creative juices start to flow. I need to take that out, throw that away because I don't need it anymore. That's my understanding of and feeling and intuition coming forward, not just the brain, but all of these thoughts. Actually, I'll keep that because that might come in handy one day. Don't need that anymore, don't want it in my life, don't like it, brings bad memories, throw that away, it's not necessary. And then we do a cleanse. So just cleaning out that one section leads you to, oh, maybe I should just go and do that. Maybe I should put that there. And while you've gone over there, you start doing something else over there and you forgot about that. But now you're over there, you realize, my God, hang on a minute, I need to do something that I forgot to do. Then you start to do something outside that you forgot to do. And then all of a sudden, it makes you realize, oh my God, I haven't done this today. I need to get in. And so from that one action leads you to what's called the flow of life. If you're sat down on your bum, upset, worried about what's going on in life, believing that you're going to die, need to wear a mask, can't go out, then what happens is creativity is nil and void. It's been severed, it's been hijacked. So living your life in what I call the flow is the balance of life. So every action gives you a reaction to so many beautiful things that can fuel your intuition, your creativity. Thus, your energy becomes more powerful and magic happens. So I think the worst thing you can do is sit and do nothing. You foister. You're like a little pool of water that goes off and goes rancid. So if you're always moving and you're moving that water and things are always happening, you're cleaning that water, you're putting crystals in there, you're doing whatever, it's like, it's all of those things. It's movement, it's coming up with new thoughts, feelings, new ideas, putting them into action. Because anybody can sit down and think about something and do nothing. How many people want to write a book? Hold your hand up. How many people want to write a book? Ask yourself, have you ever thought about writing a book? Okay, how many people have actually written a book? Okay, not many, right? That's exactly what I'm saying. So you've got to start by getting up. Okay, what am I going to do? Doesn't matter, just do. Just find things to do, because from that one action, Spirit can gently lead you to another circumstance, another situation, another thought, another feeling, another amazing download, because you are creating. And being creative means that you're open. So people say to me, wow, you run your business like it's like organized chaos. And I say it is organized chaos. That's exactly what it is. To anybody else, it seems to be chaos, but it actually isn't. It's called flow. So I'll go from one set of crystals today, and then I'll move to oils. Then I'll move to over here and start working on something here. Then I'll go out and do something outside and create something, then come back in. And that's called the flow, meaning I'm open to any suggestion, any thought, any feeling. And it's really amazing. It's actually wonderful. It's so refreshing because nobody's telling me what to do. I don't have a deadline. I don't have to do ABC, so I can just flow in any way I want. And I did that for many years when Bajerski.com was flowing really well. I run Bajerski.com on my own for probably 8 years. And in those 8 years, I created my own oils. In those 8 years, I created incense sticks. In those 8 years, I uploaded photos of all my crystals and everything that I worked with, all my tools, onto the internet. I also answered all emails myself. I also did all the inquiries, all the everything that needed to be done for posting. So I'd wake up in the morning and I'd check the inside of my computer and say, oh, you've got 10 sales today, brilliant. I'd start wrapping them up. At the same time, I'd be working with other crystals, or at night time I'd work on the crystals through the night. So my life was so diverse, it was so interesting, it wasn't boring, and that was really, I love that. I loved that, and it worked really well. And so too, I do things daily, which is different now, which is great. And I never ever say this is what I'm going to do every day. I'm open to suggestion. I'm open to new ideas, new thoughts. I'm open to new creative, I don't know, projects all the time. I'm always working because I believe that's part of why we're here. We're here to experience, to create. I think mainly we're here to create. But through that creation, we learn and experience. And through that experience of creating, we're learning to deal with situations that would seem toxic, that would seem negative, that would seem against us. When all along, if we don't see a project as something that needs to be completed, but part of cleaning out a drawer, and in that drawer, you might say, okay, that's a good idea. Oh, maybe I'll change it, not do that. And then all of a sudden, oh, I don't need to do that. I'll just leave that and then move on to something else. And nothing becomes everything, because that's when everything goes wrong. We then fully focus on one thing and miss everything else. So to be creative means that you're always aware and open to any suggestion of movement, of bending, twisting, turning, and hey, this is how I'm going to do it, and that's it. And that's not a good move. That's not clever. By saying that, that's not always a good idea, because there's always influence by spirit and always guiding us. Plus your mind's always telling you, your mind tells you that that's what you should do. You're a winner. You've got to be a winner. And if it goes wrong, you're a loser. And that's, again, programming to send people crazy. There is no winning or losing at all. Just hang on a second. So I just opened the drawer. I haven't opened that for a while, and in that drawer is this. I open this here. So, oh look, there's a professional pair of scissors there, because Mark used to be a hairdresser. Oh, look at my hair. Maybe I just want to take a little bit off there. Or maybe I look at the memory of these scissors, and I'm so glad I've moved forward. I'm no longer a hairdresser, but it's really lovely to remember that. And at the same time as I remember that, or I do my hair, something else will come along. So from this thought came another thought, to take me to where I'm going. So everything that I see in there is like a spiritual set of angel cards or a set of tarot cards. And you look and you see things, and you'll see one thing that triggers a thought and feeling. My belief system is that spirit is part of those feelings. So you know, like the crystal will always call you. Well, in there may be nothing, or there may be something that calls me. That one information from the tools that are all in there will lead me to a beautiful flow of life. And maybe there's nothing in there at all, but maybe there is in the next drawer or the next drawer. And from there, that leads me to another drawer, that leads me to a thought or a feeling or a great idea. So what I'm saying is that the possibilities of life are so, it's endless. It's the possibilities. There's no factor to it. It's forever. So every moment of every day, the possibility of something new, something wonderful entering into your life, into your thoughts, or to your higher intuition, your third eye, whatever you want to call it, your energy, is beautiful. Really is beautiful. And that's why I say, if you expect things just to come to you, I think there needs to be this understanding that a lot of people don't get in the spiritual world. It's not always about sitting and meditating. Of course, if you wanted to be the Buddha and understand life, then there's nothing wrong with sitting under a tree. But what you're going to get is what you feel around you and see around you and within you. But for me, getting up and doing really leads me onto this beautiful flow that I call the in the sea there's this movement that sometimes you can't help, but as soon as you're on it, it's like it just pulls you and you're away. And that's how I feel every step, every breath I take, every swimming stroke. I get to that beautiful flow, this sea roller coaster that takes me on this beautiful ride. This is how it feels like every day. And the possibilities are endless, and they can happen at any given moment. But how do they happen? They happen because I am inspired to take that journey, to create that journey, because it cannot, for me, it can't be created unless I want to begin that journey. So my thoughts, my feelings are do. I'm a doer. I get up and do every day, and it leads you to a beautiful path that is ongoing, never ends. It's always different. It's always amazing. And people say to me, why is your life so full of amazing things? Because I flow. I have a feeling and I just flow with it. I just flow. It doesn't matter. Is it right or wrong? Ooh, I shouldn't do that. Ooh, how many times have I been told, ooh, don't do that? I'm not listening to you. Look at you. What have you done? Nothing. You've just sat there all day and worked 24 hours, 7 days a week, every day. Oh, you get 2 weeks off a year. Look at your life. It's miserable. I don't want that. So I just do. And that's why I just left everything behind and moved to a magical mountain. And from there, I've been all over the world. Was all over. Why? Because I just do. I just do it. I don't listen to people telling me not to do things. I follow it. I follow that feeling of just go with it. Just flow. I don't fight things, because if I start to fight something, that's my indication, my measuring stick, that spirit's saying, hey, maybe this isn't for you. Maybe we're putting this brick wall up there because we don't want you to go any further, because maybe it's going to take a lot longer to get on that beautiful flow again. So if you just stand back and turn a little bit, then you're going to get closer to that flow again, and everything's going to be beautiful. Just like my friend, and he had a choice. He could have fought really hard for that house and ended up paying more, and then realizing that he had to spend another 20,000. And I said to him, would you have been able to get another mortgage or borrow money on that to be able to? He said, no way. I said, exactly. So imagine if you'd have battled and fought for that house, you'd have ended up paying that 20,000. some way you'd have borrowed it and you ended up in debt, or you wouldn't have been able to borrow it and the subsidence might have cracked all the walls and you might not have been able to sell the house, or you might have been so upset you wanted to sell it and then lost money on it. So to me, I see life in a completely different way now. I don't fight against it, and if there's ever a point where I'm stopped, I just smile and say thanks guys. I really do. I don't get upset with any situation. Like Invoke TV. It was meant to happen and it didn't. It's okay. It wasn't meant to happen. There's a reason for it. And when people talk about it and they say, you know what, it could have cost a lot of money and it could have taken a lot of your time. Okay, no problem. I hand it to somebody else. What do you think? Yeah, let's have a look. Let's see what we can do. There's lots of issues, lots of problems. It's going to take a long time. It's not that simple. But is it going to happen? If it is, it is. If it isn't, it isn't. But I'm not going to fight about it. I'm not going to get upset about it. So I've got, Moldavites that I need from the Czech Republic. I can't go and get them. Can't get them sent over. So I'd love to be able to get them. They'll come when them come. And there's a dear friend who's got them ready for me. And I say, well, there's nothing I can do at the moment. And I don't get upset about that. I don't get upset about, because there's always crystals to buy. There's always things. I don't get upset over stuff like that anymore. I've stopped, because all I'm doing is getting upset over stuff. And then my life is just being upset over things. What's the point? I was really upset when I saw children it really upset me. But then I thought, you know what? It is life. And there's only so much you can do. There's only so much we can do. I walk out the door every day and see people with masks on. It was a challenge for me. But now I come to terms with it and realize, actually, they want that mask on. They want it on. So who am I to stop them? They want it on. They need it. Without it, they feel they're going to die. So who am I to stop them from believing in their reality? It's not my reality. But why should I be drawn into that reality knowing what I know and being upset about it? No. One of the things that we teach in pure energy healing is never force your work. And actually, your work is everything that you do, everything that you say, all your actions. So I don't want to force anything. I share my truth, and if people want to hear, they'll find it, but there's no point forcing it on people. And I've said it so many times, you try and force your thoughts, your feelings and opinions on somebody. Well, it's like force feeding a baby. They just spew it straight back out at your face, right? So it's not worth it. So we send our love and we share our truth as much as we can, and that's it. We flow. And I guess today is about flow. So I love you all, and I hope you've got something from this little conversation. Flow of life is important, creativity and getting off your backside and just doing anything and see what it leads you to. It's quite beautiful, really, to think about that. One action can lead to so many beautiful, magical paths. It's incredible. So today, get up and create your magic and let it take you to where it needs to be. And each moment you're stopped, say thank you. And if there is an opportunity, likewise, take it. Don't let your mind stop you. Just flow it. Just do it. It's exciting. There's no such thing as wrong and right paths anyway. Just sometimes they're a little bit more challenging than others. Food for thought. Have a great day. Thank you for going to Bajerski.com and buying your authentic crystals that I'm working on every single day and loving every single moment of them. And to answer one of your questions, when do you need to cleanse your pure energy healing crystal? Let me tell you guys, I work with crystals, the ones that you buy, for literally hours and hours and hours and hours. And when they're ready, it means that you never need to cleanse them. They're already memorized. There's memory in them of hours of work. So stick them in the sun if it makes you feel better. Hold them in your hand when you're laughing. Bury them in the ground. Put them in the moon if you believe in that. Put them in salt if you want. But for me, the crystal has always the memory of pure energy healing that I put into it. That never goes. The memory never dies. Never. The only thing that happens is that sometimes you hold that crystal and it just blows you away for that one moment. Well, that's because it needed to heal you for that specific thing. And then you don't feel it again because you've been healed for something that could have been physically really bad or emotionally really traumatic. So the crystal works in so many other ways. So I wear crystals all the time, and yeah, they don't always do anything, but actually I know they do, and they're constantly doing something. But do I feel it every day? No, that's not what it's about. Have a great day, guys. Take care.